Thank you for giving me opportunity to talk with you.
Absolutely. It
So
looks like it's raining over there.
yeah, it's raining. It's night time here. It's 1:40 a.m.
Wow. I'm sorry to make you get up in the middle of the night to do this.
But obviously there will be time difference between you and me. So when you sleep, I'll wake up.
Right. Other side of the planet. That's insane, right? Global
Yeah,
village.
yeah. When we are able to see and talk with each other.
Absolutely.
So I've gone through your profile and I came to know about you, and I thought to tell about you to my audience who are following me and all the social platforms.
Okay. Great.
So, yeah. So, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's John Jennings. I go by Jack. I live in Texas. I've got two kids, a wonderful wife. My son is 18 months old, and my daughter is 5 years old. They're a lot of fun. And I've got a dog who's a blue heeler, and she's about 10 years old. And I work in user experience. And so basically, what that means is I look at how users interact with the product, whether it's a website or an actual tangible product, and I empathize with them, try to make it good for them, and have an overall good experience for them. And I've been doing that for a number of years, in different roles and different jobs. I've been doing user experience, uh, but it's a lot of fun. I really like it.
So, you are into technology.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'm a tech guy too. So, I did masters in software engineering and graduation in computer science and engineering.
Excellent. And so we'll be talking about the same language here, but you're more advanced than I am. I don't have a master's degree. I've got a bachelor's degree, a BA in history, and a BS in radio, television, and film, with the
Wow.
emphasis on social media. Yeah. So not kind of related, but sort of tangentially.
Yeah, but you have this industrial experience. I didn't work in any industry till now. So, maybe I'll work in few months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you interested in?
So right now I'm doing this. I have websites, blog, apps. I created two mobile apps using Android Studio, and I write content in my blogs, and I do interviews of different professions, people who are into different professions and who are into different parts of the world. And I have separate podcast and YouTube channel for tech people, and non-tech people. I have other podcast and YouTube channel. So I did more than 450 interviews in last 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah.
You haven't gotten burned out yet?
No, I love knowing different people. Like I'm doing your job. I'm not working in any company. Like you see the user experience, like how users are feeling, whether they're feeling satisfied or they're facing any issues, errors, like correcting it. Like you listen to people and you try to sort it out. What is going wrong? So I think I'm doing the same, but I'm putting it in public, like doing it and making it, putting in public, and it the concept name is exploring minds. Like people
Okay.
explore places, people explore different things. I thought, like, why can't I explore minds of different people?
Absolutely. That's a huge part of what I do. And what you're doing is focusing in on your audience and trying to think about what they would like to hear, what would be interesting to them. That's brilliant. Yeah, very similar.
So yeah, and you have a different background. You did BA in history, and you're completely you studied something completely different from what you're doing now. So what made
Yeah.
you to do that? And this,
Oh, that's a good question. Uh, I went to school in Austin, and I decided that history was going to be the thing that interested me the most. And when I was doing it, it was fascinating to me. I learned all sorts of different history. But as I was pursuing that course, it was you're either going to be a history professor or you're going to be a lawyer or something like that. But I didn't want to do either of those things. So, I finished what I started. But then I decided that I needed something that would be, more specific to what I wanted to do. And one of my main interests was film at the time. It still is. I love watching movies. I love how they're created. I love the story arcs and the characters that are involved. And if you look at any kind of website out there, there's a narrative that you want to give the end user. There's a story that you're trying to deliver to the end user. So I saw that as the best way to kind of continue going forward. And while I was working in school, that's what really I related to the most. And I did a lot better in radio, television, and film and digital communications than I did in history. I did terribly in history. I did just well enough to pass in some of those courses. And so I knew it wasn't for me. I love it, and I still love it. I'll watch the History Channel and the Discovery Channel, and I'll read history books. And it's an interest to me, but it's not something that I could pursue professionally and make a lot of money in. Not that that's everything, but it's when you got 2 kids, a wife, and a dog, you got to think about that.
So to make money, you came into this field.
To make a living, to make money, not so much. It's something that I love to do, and I can support myself and my family with it. But I'm not going to be flying to clients in my Learjet anytime soon. Maybe soon, or maybe in the distant future, but not soon.
So at some point of time, you was interested in history, and some point of time you're interested in the stories and the movie making and what happens, how the content is created in radio and TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now you are creating the same stories and movies in the present profession.
Well, so not really. Not doing any kind. I mean, I do movies in a way, but really what I do is I work with my clients to generate a story. One of my favorite clients that I'm working with right now is Super Fullerene Labs, and they're putting a solution, a nano solution, into the market that is essentially a very effective antioxidant. And the challenge that we have and that we're facing is that not a lot of people know that they need something like this. Not a lot of people even know what antioxidants do, but it's a product that works. So how do you communicate that with the end user? So you got to create a narrative around that. You got to say, okay, this is why you need it. This is what happens when you take it, and this is how you feel when you're done. And in order to do that, you can do it through a website. You can do it through social. You can do it through TikToks, little mini vignettes, mini videos, and finding out how you communicate with your demographic is that's the key. You got to try a lot of different subjects and approaches.
From how many years you are doing this?
Oh, well, I started working when I was 18 years old, doing something somewhat similar in the energy sector. So I was working for a service company, and we were doing 3D models for trade shows and creating videos with those 3D models for trade shows. And that was kind of my first experience with it. And from there, I worked with the .com company, and we were doing B2B, so business to business applications, and we were doing B2C. And this was all before the .com bubble burst back in 2000. We were doing a lot of sites, and one of the challenges that we had there wasn't a huge adoption. It was still pretty early on in the internet, and we had an application that was pretty robust and allowed people in boat warehouses to order parts for their customers. And they were doing all of this by catalog, a giant catalog, and they were just ordering over the phone. and it wasn't very efficient. And they looked at the website and they thought to themselves, this is too complicated and this is too hard. So we kind of had to empathize and do a lot of interviews, find out where the pain points are or were, and how to make it easier for them. And we found a solution, which is just to create an obvious step format for them. So you got step one, you go here, step two, you go here, step three, you go there, and then you're done. You know, if you show someone that there's an end in sight, and it's not going to take them that long, and it's a better alternative, they're gonna start adopting it, and they did, and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun, and that's kind of where I started really liking user experience. Because the key with user experience is to talk to someone, to get the data, to understand how to motivate them, and you know that was perfect until the dot-com bubble burst, and then I realized this might not be an effective job for me, and I went back to school. And while I was in school, we did some work here and there, but I had a lot of different jobs while I was in school. I was a waiter, which, believe it or not, I think helped my user experience skills, because you have to really kind of learn about service delivery there. You have to, you know, speak with people, find out what they like, find out that they're unhappy with their service, and then make it right. I was a bartender. I did tech support online, which is, you know, pretty effective in getting user data. And then I went back to work with the family business. And I have, you know, my mother that I work with, and she acts as a mentor. And what's really good there is that she can tell me that I'm doing a terrible job, and I don't take it personally. I know it comes from a place of love, so that's awesome. I've worked with my uncles, and that's been fun, just being able to work with family. And my wife's part of the business, so it's great.
So all your life, you're into communicating with people.
Yeah.
So communicating with users, what they feel and what they think about the products and different things.
hmm Well, user experience at its core is kind of a service job. You're serving others. You're trying to help others. You're being empathetic, so that their life can be better. Whether it's just using a website or opening a product box. I think the best example that I've heard one time on a user experience podcast was the Apple packaging. If you ever buy an iPhone or an iPad, you open that box and it's got a smooth feel to it, and the first thing you see is the product ready to go. You don't have to fumble through a bunch of stuff, and there's not like a whole lot of steps involved. It's all right there for you, and you have a good experience with it, and your brain remembers that.
So have you ever thought to start a podcast?
I have not.
Because you are expert in that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that I'm an expert. I'd say that I like learning. I like learning a lot, and you know, I like talking to people about, you know, their likes and dislikes are about a certain subject. So yeah, I think I'd leave the podcasting to you. You're the expert at it.
I'm doing just this from 1 year, but you're doing this for since years.
Well, you know, there's certainly challenges that I've gone through that I feel like I did okay with, but you know, there's a lot of failure that has gone with that as well.
So approximately how many people have exchanged words with you?
Have they exchanged words with me?
I mean, communicated with you while you are giving. I mean, you are telling about the products and everything while you are doing job since long time, approximately.
Thousands. I mean, we do surveys. We do surveys with people, and you know, we focus on emailers, and we'll ask questions via email, and try to get as many data points as we can. I'll call an end user, one of my clients' end users, so end user of an end user. I'll call so that I can get some information out of them that helps me create a better product for them.
So, how many mediums have you used? Voice, video, mail, chat?
Oh man. So I started out working at a company that wanted a newsletter digitally and in print. And it was so long ago that they actually wanted me to take a PDF of the print version and email that to people. So I've done a lot of print, and we still do a lot of print today. We do a lot of data sheets and brochures. I've done video, and film video. I've done photography. Um, you know, we've done actual macromedia videos that were delivered via CDs. That's how long ago we're talking. Macromedia became Flash, and then Flash became, bought out by whatever, and now, everything is either Adobe Premiere or whatever Apple's using these days. But at the end of the day, I'm no longer dealing with that so much as I am working with developers and writers to really create a good message. But yeah, mediums, all the everything on the web I've dealt with.
So, so as a human being, what you learned from talking or exchanging, I mean, communicating with, through different mediums to different people, what you learned as a human being?
That despite all of our differences, the most important thing is to look at what we're all related, what's relatable to us all, and it's what we like to do, what helps us feel good about ourselves. And some people it's themselves, but some people, you establish a need by just communicating and asking questions. And once we know what that need is, uh, everyone's the same. So if it's love, uh, everyone feels that. Everyone feels that need. If it's love for a hobby, everyone has that. That's interested into that. It's why are you going to school? Do you love what you do?
Yeah,
Yeah,
to study and to love. Yeah.
yeah.
So, what is the common thing that you observed in all the users that you interacted with?
It's kind of funny, but it's pretty easy to see that people don't have a lot of patience. I'd say that's the easiest thing to find as in common with everyone is they don't have a lot of patience. And when you're dealing with user experience, that's kind of the red flag. If it takes too long for a site to load, people are just going to click out of there. And you'll see it at a fast food place. If someone is waiting in line and someone in front of them is taking too long to order, maybe I just go to a different place. Patience is a nice common denominator, and people don't have it.
So, you have used different mediums to connect with people. So, with which medium you felt very comfortable and they felt comfortable getting the right information that they wanted, and with which medium you feel comfortable in making people satisfied?
Well, I think right now with COVID-19 and social distancing, the best medium right now is always going to be digital. It's going to be something similar to what you and I are doing right now, but most people don't want to be, live or on camera or even though that we're in this Zoom culture right now where everybody's on, video conferencing and things like that. People would much rather communicate with me via email. So, if I'm going to send them a survey, they'll communicate with me via email because they get to do it in their own time and they get to think about it. It's not like we need this instant gratification of having this answer back right now. It's expected that when I send someone an email, they've got 48 hours to respond to it and they could really think about it. So that's a great tool to have in my arsenal if I'm going to be asking questions about a particular product or what they're interested in. When we're coming out with new products, we'll ask users, would you use this? What would make it better? Is the price okay for you? All important things, but if you put someone on the spot on the phone, you might get the right answer, you might not.
So you will be interacting people with who are connected with technology and who are not connected with technology, who don't have any information about technology, they don't have tech background. So how as a tech guy, how you will make them understand that, and to the non-tech people, it take a lot of
Yeah,
time to understand.
it's a challenge. It certainly is a challenge because you don't want to ignore a good part of the demographic that's not a digital native. They're not flipping through TikTok videos every day. They didn't grow up on Facebook, but they have just as much need for a product as anybody else. And what we've done to mitigate that is that we try to reach out to them through radio ads, and we try to make ourselves available for phone calls so that if someone wants to order something online, we can, or from online over the phone, we can do that for them. So we try to be old school as well as proactive in handling the users that are just going to use Apple Pay on their phone and be done with it that quick.
So how many country people have communicated with you, or you communicated with them?
Well, I've worked globally for a long time. When I was 17, 18 years old, uh, I was uh, I was part of an international gaming community, and the large part of that group was based out of Sweden and the UK. And some of those guys we're still friends with today. And so that's like 22 years ago. We still communicate. I lived in Peru for a number of years, and I still talk with all my friends from Peru. With Facebook, it's so easy to do. It's awesome, and with all these Instagram and whatnot, it's like I'm still hanging out with them all the time. I've worked with a team out of India a couple times, some developers out of India a couple times, um, a team out of Uruguay as well. So yeah, totally international. It doesn't matter. I'd say the trickiest thing with working international is when you're working on a tight deadline and their day and your night, and there might be some. It's tricky to communicate sometimes, but more often than not, they had a representative stay up Central Time.
Are you able to establish connection?
How do you mean?
I mean, are you able to communicate with people who are not from your country?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just as easy. And I'm looking at my Skype list right here, and I've got some people that I used to work with from the Ukraine. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's super easy with Skype and with all that and Zoom. You can have a video conference, and you can have a brainstorming session with someone in the Ukraine, someone in India, and someone in Uruguay, and someone in Texas, and it's seamless.
So, what is the tool that is most widely used in internet communicating tool?
A good communicating tool. Well, I like Miro board, Miro. Miro is great. So it's kind of like you're all on the same Google Doc, but you can actually see people's cursors and the cursors are named and whatnot, and you can create post-it notes, digital post-it notes on a whiteboard. So you could be doing Scrum, you could be doing anything that you need to, and organize it all during a quick meeting.
So, with how many people you will interact in a day?
Well, today has been about. Today is 9, and today's an off day. Typically, what I like to do is I use Mondays for creative. so that I can kind of plan out the rest of my week and move everyone towards that direction. So yeah, just about 9 people, but sometimes it's a lot more than that. A lot of the times I'll have clients that bring in like 6 or 7 people onto a phone call.
So I'm sure with their questions, you might have, for searching for the answers for their questions, you might have learned a lot,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, yeah.
It's fun because I won't we won't engage clients unless we believe in the product or unless we're interested in the product because we're going to be working with them for a long time. All of our clients are long-term clients. We don't we don't like to bid out on one-off projects because we really like the relationship that we have with these clients, and we feel like we can basically put our minds into their minds and do exactly what they're doing. We become their advocate, and we support them. So we learn a lot of what needs to be done so that we can basically communicate their message to their end user.
So in your life, you have explained about a lot of products to a lot of people, uh, the the features of it, the functionalities of it, how it works, how it is going to work, and how it is going to be useful for them. So what is the best product that you want to explain multiple times?
The best product that I want to explain multiple times would probably be the product that I'm working on, at the moment, right now. I do explain uh, the products that I'm working on right now quite a bit to people because I take it myself. And my family takes it, and there's a huge need for it right now.
So what is the product that you're working on?
So what I'm working on right now is called it's a company called Super Fullerene Labs, and they have a couple of products. They've got Numerix Immunity, they have Super Carbon 60, and they have Super Fullerene for dogs. And what this product does is it is a immune support, and it works on inflammation. So it's a free radical scavenger that is it's the world's most powerful antioxidant. And C60 has been around for a little bit. Back in '95 or so, it won the Nobel Prize, and people have been looking at the medical applications for it. And there's a lot of encouraging stuff going on. It's still really new, so getting that message out is really tricky. And one of my goals is to get this message out, to get enough people on it, so that we can lower the price of the product because it's not cheap, but it's an effective, good product that'll change people's lives. And if we can get enough people taking it, we can lower the price.
So can I call you as a psychologist because you understand the mindsets of the people and you know how to deal with them?
Say that again.
Can I call you as a psychologist because you understand the mindsets of the people and you know how to deal with them?
A psychologist? No, I don't think I'm that good at it. I think you're giving me too much credit. I focus on one specific thing about them, on what makes them tick, and how they can relate to the product better. The people are my focus. It's not the application. It's not the product. The people are my focus. But can I fix people like a psychologist? No. Can I do my best to make sure that they have a good service experience, a service delivery experience? Yeah, pretty good at that.
So what is working for you to be successful?
To be successful, at the end of the day, it's to have a good, holistic, end-to-end experience with a client, to have the client happy, to have the client's end user happy. That's perfect. That's a perfect day, and I can sleep well at night if that happens. The nature of this business, though, and why I get called is that you don't typically get that. So it takes a lot of effort, and There's a lot of challenges that go with it. When you're dealing with people, there's a lot of dynamic things that happen, uh, and that's why it's fun. That's why I keep doing it.
So you talk only particular about a specific product to the users. So in my 1 year of experience, I have exchanged words with people who are into different professions. I went very deep into their subject because that's not my subject. I'm into technology. I'll go, doctor is talking with me. I'll go how the body works, how the blood cells works, how what is the mechanism of the body, what is inside body, how we are created, who is the who created us like this with the doctor, like with the animals observer, like somebody is an army guy, somebody come from like from author who writes about their imagination. Like I talk with completely different people who are not at all connected with the subject that I'm in. But you talk about only particular set of people who wants to know about the product that you are connected with. So what I understood is I think you can give a case study to the people who are who are creating devices for the better communication. Like we have mobile phone, there are a lot of devices because user experience, what people think and what they want, what they don't need, and how they are able to connect with things. I think if coming technology is AI, artificial intelligence. I think people like you can give the best information to those people who are creating that artificial intelligent devices, because artificial intelligent devices will be created based on the intelligent people. I mean, the real intelligence of the people. Real intelligence of the people because lot of users have intelligence with whom you have interacted with. I think you can give the lump sum amount of information to them so that they can create the best device which can be helpful and which can with which people can be connected all over the world.
Well, I think the biggest concern that people have after watching Terminator 2 is that the robots are about to take over, right? That AI is going to take over the world, and we're certainly seeing AI do a lot of things. And one of the things that they are not going to be able to account for are how people change their minds really fast. And I wonder if there was any AI that had played a part when Apple decided that they were going to get rid of their 3.5 millimeter phone jack and then just use dongles. Because there were so many people that complained about that. Did some robot say, "Yeah, let's get rid of that. We don't need it any longer"? It's funny because yeah, there's gonna there's always going to be a need for human input. And AI can certainly make things a lot quicker, and AI can help predict things a lot better than most people can. But yeah, there's always going to need to be someone that is on the field quarterbacking for user experience.
So are you going to be the contributor for that?
I'd like to be. Yeah, I'll take on that challenge. That sounds fun.
Awesome. So in your experience, is there any particular person or any human being that with which you cannot able to communicate or cannot able to uh, transfer the information that is there in your mind?
Yeah, I mean it requires two-way communication, right? So if someone's not going to listen, there's no point in continuing, and that works with the client. If a client's not going to listen to any kind of input that you have, you have to say good luck and goodbye, because that relationship isn't going to work, and that's fine. There's a huge need for good communication when it comes to user experience. And we all have to be on the same page. And it may take 3 or 4 times of explaining something or having a conversation to get on the same page, but that willingness will always get you there. If there's no willingness and no one's going to listen, then there's no point in moving forward.
So this information technology is communication. So what I understood before last year is after completion of my master's, instead of going into the technology directly and work on learn programming languages and communicate with the computer, if I can able to communicate with every human being who is into every profession and who is into every part of the world, if I can understand them, if I can able to give answer for their question, if I can question them, uh, which they can answer, like that, give and take. If I can understand this communication system between human beings, I can able to communicate with computer better. So that is why the reason I jumped into the public and jumped into the job that you are doing. So I think in coming days I'm going to come into technology, come in which I'm going to only communicate with the computer, like operating systems, understanding all these computer related things. So, but my fascination is like, obviously we are going to be in front of laptop all the time, but
Mhm.
what you're doing is amazing. You know, not everybody gets that. Not every human being gets that opportunity to connect with different country people and to know what they are feeling, what they are thinking, what they are not understanding, what they are understanding. Not it's a uh, great profession that you do.
It's a lot of fun, and when you look at it to as a service to other people, it changes everything. When it's just another job, it could be tedious. But if it's something that you really see as helping other people, then it's great. And it's important to also understand that there's going to be cultural differences, and there's going to be differences in age groups that you have to account for. And one of my favorite things to work on is the user experience um, for people that are disabled one way or another, whether it is visual impairment or not. It's to be able to develop for them. It really pays off. It, Making life easier for them, letting them use an app that sighted people can use effectively, just as effectively, is great.
So you have communicated with the people who are physically, mentally disabled also.
Yeah, in fact, right now on one of our applications, I'm working with a visually impaired individual, and he's got a lot of opinions about how the app can be made better. And I work with the developers to make sure that we can implement that. And there's hardware restrictions that we have to work around. There's application restrictions that we have to work around. But that kind of puzzle and fixing that is a lot of fun. Uh, if if they're patient, we'll make sure that we'll do the best that we can if they're patient. We'll do the best we can, anyways. But you gotta expect that it's going to take some time.
So you're into communication system. You're into this exchanging words with people, with human beings through different mediums from long time. So what is the difference that you see in internet? uh, there is the internet become vast today. Everybody is using that. Even small villages can able to use the internet. So what is the gradual difference that you have, that you are observing? Like internet was very slow, Skype was not that faster. So like there are a lot of communication mediums today become very easy, and that is why the reason a lot of apps, TikTok came. We came into today we have like a lot of applications with which we are sending photos, videos, documents. It's become very faster. And also Amazon, they are building AWS data centers everywhere and storing the information in the places where there are less natural disasters. Uh, so like that, to save the information. What is the difference that you are observing in technology, the growth?
Oh, that is a really good question, and I like it a lot because if you look at the timeline of how people were interacting, back in the late '90s and how they're interacting now, the number one thing that is super different is the time that it takes to gather feedback and to see people's opinions. And I think the scary thing about it is that people aren't necessarily accountable for these opinions. They'll just throw up a review. A friend of mine has been opening up a restaurant in the Houston area, and I've been looking at the reviews, and he's been having to respond to reviews very quickly. And the same thing with applications. You put your app out there, and people will just start, giving you negative reviews because there's one feature that isn't fixed yet. And you have to communicate. You have to react to that negative review. You have to say, "We're working on it. We'll get it fixed." And then when you do get it fixed, you let them know about it. Whereas back in the day, you were a little bit slower in getting that feedback and making those changes, which allowed you to actually uh, work on other features first and make sure that the overall product was where you wanted it to be rather than just react to people and their negative reviews and then positive reviews as well. But that feedback being so quick and international as well, it's something that's impressive, and we have to learn to live with it. We have to be able to plan for that. You have to get ready for it. Essentially, you have to have reputation management at all times when you're in the digital world, because someone can immediately decide that they're not going to like you, and you have to be prepared for that. You can't react knee jerk. It has to be a planned response.
So as a person who is into user experience from long time, what do you say about the project that Elon Musk took and working on it? He started Neuralink, and he's creating a chip in which the complete information will be stored, and human don't need to collect the information using the sensors. If once that information is stored in that particular device, I don't know the exact amount of data that we can be stored, but it is very big number. So do you think if that is implemented and if it is working, do you think we need other human beings to interact with, because already the information of the people are stored in that particular chip? So how the human relationships are going to be if that works?
Well, data points are super important, and the more data that we have, the better decisions that we can make. And being able to interpret that data, though, that's always going to be best handled by a human, I would think. Uh, but I'm limited by having a human's outlook. I can't empathize with a computer or a supercomputer or a Neuralink or whatever's going to be super advanced in the future. I can sort of kind of have some foresight, but all I can do right now is look at what's in front of me and then do my best to adapt to that.
So, at last, do you have anything to say to the world who is listening and who is watching you about user experience and its importance in every industry?
Um, One thing that I'd like to say. Oh, I think the Skype just got doubled up. The record button. There we go. Um, I think if there's one thing that I'd like to share and ask for is that that any time you have those surveys at the end of a phone call with your cable company, or a survey at the end of a website experience, take that survey. It helps. It helps guys like me make your life easier. A lot of the times, and I'm guilty of it too. Is I'll get that, I'll get done with the tech support call with the, my computer or whatever like that, and they'll say, "Would you like to take a survey?" No, I don't have time for that. But really, if you take time to answer that survey, it will help, and it's there for you. It's not really implemented to make sure that the tech support guy is doing his job. It's there to make sure that that process is a lot quicker. And I can't tell you how annoyed I've been by having these, robot operators try to direct me to the right call. If you're looking for X service, press one, or say your name. It never works right. So reply to those surveys. They help.
So I'm sure, in coming days in your life, I'm sure you're going to give a lot of good service to all the people who are going to interact with you, and also to the company to whom you are going to work with. I'm sure because of you people, the companies are getting, companies are able to maintain the good relationships with the customers and the clients. And I think you are the backbone for them. And, you are the main reason for their development and growth. I'm sure you will continue doing the great work. And also, as a human being, compared to other professions, this is an amazing profession that I really respect, and that not everybody can able to interact and can able to solve the problem. I think you're the best problem solver. Like, people can solve the computer problems, can fix the problem, because they know this is the problem that, most of the problems that computer we created computer because we know we can able to solve it very easily. But human beings are not like that. Every time they come with a new problem that that you have to go and you have to search for the answer. So that's an amazing. You are working on human beings. I think working on human beings are far tougher job than working on computers. I think you are great in it.
Those are kind words. Appreciate that.
So, at last, what do you say? As an expert, as a person who is into industry, who is into, knowing uh, people's problems and solving their errors. And what do you say about what is your observation on my videos? Have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube?
I have. I really enjoy them, and I look at the diverse group of people that you're approaching, and it's all really good information. I watched the lieutenant colonel one, and the University of Texas professor, because I went to that school that interested me. So I watched that, and a lot of the authors uh, that you have on here were very interesting. I think that writing a book is something that is so amazing, and to be able to put all your thoughts on paper, to have them coherent, and to have them uh, read by people is an amazing thing. So watching the people that you have on your podcast and on your videos gives me a little bit of imposter syndrome, because those guys are so talented and so amazing. You got amazing guests.
So, are
Don't
you?
compare.
Yeah. So, are you going to write a book? Are you going to use this communicating medium also to communicate and to connect with human beings?
One day when I have a little bit more time. It's tricky. It's a 12-hour a day job. When you got multiple clients going on, and you need to make sure that you give everyone the amount of time that they deserve, that's going to make this product go forward. And at the end of the day, maybe I'd like to, certainly, but no time soon.
So maybe the title will be expert on user experience.
And I'll write that down.
So you maybe that suits for you.
No, there's people that are way more expert at this than me. I just love what I do.
Awesome. So can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Yeah, absolutely.
And also can I put this video and audio clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
You got it. I don't know who's gonna want to watch it, but yeah, you got my permission for
So
putting it out.
definitely your should I put this on technical channel or non-technical channel?
Whichever works for you. Whoever you
Technical
think
is it?
care about it.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for giving me your valuable time and spending your valuable experience with my audience.
Sure, and thank you for getting up at 1:15 a.m. to do this. I'm sorry about
No problem, sir. So, thank you. Keep going. Keep doing what you love.
you too. You got a great channel going.
Thank you, sir. Bye.